What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tristan, aka TS, back with another video for y'all, man. Now today we got an absolute banger for y'all today, man. Today I'm gonna be showing y'all how to make professional and cool looking thumbnails for your videos. Now I ain't gonna hold you. This is gonna be one of my favorite videos to bring to y'all because I know how much the information helped me and I know how much the information is gonna help y'all. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so first things first, we're going to be going from an iOS operating system. If you're unfamiliar, that just means we're going to be going from Apple's software. So that's the stuff that's in the iPads or the iPhones or whatever. I'm going to specifically use the iPad today, but if you have an iPhone, you can follow along step by step. And then shout out to all the Android users. If you have an Android, don't worry, because the apps that we use, you'll be able to follow along too. If you get stuck or have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Instagram and I'll answer all your questions. If there's something that doesn't match up or if you couldn't find a particular app, don't worry, I got you. Now step number one, make sure you have all the photos and pictures you want to use for your thumbnail. So I'm going to take you out to my gallery so you can see I'm going to use the NBA 2K21 logo, a random arrow that I found in Google Images, a picture of some Air Jordan 5 Raging Bulls, and then a screenshot of actual gameplay from NBA 2K21. So organize all your pictures and photos. Step number two, make sure you organize with all the apps we're going to use and make sure you got them all. To the far left, PixArt, kind of in the middle, Snapseed, and then to the far right, Fonto. As you can see, I also have Thumbnail Maker, but I just downloaded that to give it a shot, see how I would like it, maybe find like a little cheat code or life hack, but it didn't really make the process easy because of the stuff that I wanted to do. So y'all can test it out and you can see how you like it, but I'm good on it. Another thing I want to mention real quick is you only absolutely need PixArt and Fonto to get the job done for making cool and professional looking thumbnails like we're going to do today. But I downloaded Snapseed to make more of the colors in our pictures pop, and you're going to see why I say that in the next step. Now step three is for everybody who wants to bring more color out from the photos they're going to use. But if you don't care about making the colors pop a little bit more and you just want to get straight to actually making a thumbnail, you can skip to about 5 minutes 25 seconds to step number 4, where we get into PixArt. But this step right here is going to be the Snapseed step. Now go ahead, open up Snapseed, and then the first thing you're going to see is a big plus sign. For me, I'm going to have open to the top right, and then I'm going to go ahead and select the photo that I want to bring more color out of. On your phone, it might be, if you hit open, it might just come up from the bottom, but y'all can see how to follow along. And then from there, you got some preset filters with the arc that's on the right side, or underneath the arc looking shape, you have like a pencil or a pen. And then once you click that, which is what I did here, you'll see adjust. And then from adjust, you'll have different categories like brightness, saturation, all that kind of stuff. And then from here, once you click on whatever you want to make adjustments to, so for example, the brightness, I just push that and I move my finger over to the right and it increases the brightness. And if I drag my finger over to the left, it decreases the brightness. And this is going to be the same thing for saturation, for warmth, for ambience, whatever you choose. Right is to increase and then the left is going to be to decrease. After making those adjustments to the brightness, the saturation, that kind of stuff, you guys can see right here that there were some presets, some filters that I wanted to try out. So I was just going through kind of seeing what I would like, what I wouldn't like, if I wanted to use no filter at all and just go with my adjustments. So this part is pretty much going to be up to you and what you are going to like the most for your thumbnail. So now we kind of mess around with the picture a little bit. We got the picture the way we want it. You're going to go down to the bottom right to the square that has the arrow pointing out of it. That's the share or the send icon. You're going to click save a copy, and then you're going to get a notification that the copy was successfully saved. After that, you can go up to the top right where we first started, click open, and then go through your pictures to see what's the next picture you want to try to alter. The next picture I wanted to work on was the picture of the Raging Bulls. So as you can see, I clicked on the pencil or the pen that was on the right side, kind of like towards the middle of the screen for me. It might be towards the bottom of the screen for you if you're working from a phone. And then I clicked adjust, and made adjustments to like the brightness, the saturation, the ambience, and there might have been one more. I think it was shadows. Yeah, it was shadows. And for each of those, I just took my finger and I moved over to the right, because as I mentioned earlier, you move your finger over to the right, you increase the effects. So yeah, like right here, I'm increasing the shadows just to give it more of a dramatic look and something that would catch the eye. So now I went in and I found under like the filters and stuff, I found something I think it's called vignette or something like that. So I clicked that and then moved my finger over to the right, and then same thing where I found the square with the arrow at the bottom right. I clicked save a copy. I got a notification that it was successfully saved, and then from there I moved on to the next picture. For my last picture, I was gonna do something with the arrow, but I decided it looked clean the way it was. So now I'm done making the colors pop out of my pictures. So I'm done with Snapseed, and now I'm over to PixArt. We open PixArt. It's a plus sign right in the middle of my screen, might be for you too as well. Just scroll all the way down to backgrounds, choose the first one. It's gonna be known as the transparent background or the clear background. Click next to move forward with saving the picture. It should ask you to save, and then make sure that you get a notification that says successfully saved. Don't just take a screenshot of the background, save it as a completed project, and where it's just nothing but a blank background. Because if you save it as a picture, then you're not gonna get the transparent effect. So now go over to Fonto, you open Fonto, you click the little camera in the middle, and then you're gonna select that very first picture that you just saved over from PixArt, and that's your transparent background. So that's needed because we're gonna put letters and words on top of that, and we don't want to have a background to that later on. So when you first open Fonto, you're gonna see that you get all these basic fonts right here. We don't want those because those are not eye-catching at all. So you're gonna go over to My Fonts, where you're gonna click on Burbank. And if you are not familiar with how to install your own custom fonts, just be on the lookout for a follow-up video, or look in my description. I'm gonna put a link in the description on how to download extra fonts, and the font that we're gonna use is gonna be the popular Fortnite font, so be on the lookout for that. But anyways, you select your font, and then you just type in what you want to be on your thumbnail. In this case, I'm gonna put make these with 2 exclamation points, and then from there I just clicked on style, and then here you can just change the color and do exactly what it says, change the style of it. So you can make it more bold, you can add shadows, strokes, and all that kind of stuff. For people who don't know, the stroke in this case just meant that we were gonna add the black outline to the letters. I didn't want to use a background, so I canceled out of that. And then in the middle of my screen, I had color or style. I left color, I went over to style, and I added the shadow. Okay, when I moved the alpha all the way over to the right, that made the shadow more intense. So you guys can play around with that and just get it to the way that you want it. After we increased the alpha or the shadow and then took down the blur so that it would stand out and look real clean, I went to the bottom right, and from there it's still again the square with the arrow coming up from it, and I click save image as PNG. Make sure you save it as a PNG so that way the background stays transparent and just clear, because if you click on just regular save image, you'll actually get a picture of the make these with the gray background, or whatever you type in with the gray background, and you won't be able to separate those. That's going to be important later. After you make your save, then all you're going to do is go back into the add text, and you're going to erase what you already just wrote, and you're just going to type in something new because you already saved the first thing that you put. So in my case, I already saved the make these, so that's already in my gallery. So now I'm going to type in the next phrase that I want on my thumbnail, which is Raging Bull. I'm going to click done, and it's going to have all the exact same settings from the last phrase, so I can go straight down to the bottom right to the send button, and I can go straight into save as a PNG. And don't forget, y'all, because this is a video, if I'm going kind of fast, you can always just pause the video, rewind, and watch a step again. And then if you don't want to do that, you can always hit me up. My link is in the description to my Instagram DMs. But here I'm just showing you guys that we're done bringing the color out of all of our pictures, and we're done basically just getting our setup for our thumbnail. We have the words, we have the pictures. And don't forget, step number 1 was to gather all of the photos you were going to use. Step number 2 was to make sure you had the apps. Step number 3, which was optional, was to go into Snapseed and make sure that you brought out the color in your pictures. And if you were cool with how your pictures already are, you can go straight to step number 4, which was Fonto, and make sure that you get all the words that you want to use in your thumbnail and put that clear or invisible or transparent background behind those words in Fonto. So now we're back in PixArt, and this is where we're actually going to put together everything to make the thumbnail. This is what you'll see when you open PixArt back up. You're going to click that plus sign down at the bottom, and you're going to choose the background photo that you want to be the base of your thumbnail. After that, you're going to click add photos so that you can get all the other pictures that you want to be in your thumbnail. And in my case, that's going to be like the Jordans, the NBA 2K21 logo, the arrow, and the words. Alright, so after you click all those pictures and they pop up, you're going to see that they all have backgrounds except for the words that we made in Fonto. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to select a picture and then click cutout. Alright, so after you click cutout, that's near the bottom of the screen, you're just going to choose the outline feature, and you're going to outline it at first and then fill everything in the middle, as you see right here. And then if you actually click on the outline option again, you can change the size of the brush, and then you can go in and clean things up. So for me, I clicked the eraser and I made the brush like real small. I cleaned it up and then click next, and boom, you have your arrow with no background. And then you're going to repeat the process again for the other picture. So if you miss it the first time, you just click on a picture, click cutout, select outline, and then what you're going to do is just literally go over everything that you want to stay, and then everything that you don't highlight in red is going to leave. So keep that in mind. You're not taking out what you cover in red, you're keeping what you cover in red. And then you can get as specific as you want to get. I know for the NBA 2K21 logo, I try to see like if I just do the middle, would the software recognize what I was trying to do and keep the whole like letter or number, but it didn't. So you have to actually kind of be specific with it. That's why Fonto was so cool with the words that we used, the make these and the Raging Bull words that I used earlier, because it just automatically just was the font and that was it, no background. But with this, because it's a picture and not something that we typed, we actually had to go in and clean up the picture and cut out the middle, which is what we wanted, and we had to leave the background because we didn't want the white to come up in our thumbnail. That would have looked bad. Now we're just about done cleaning everything up, and we're gonna take the NBA 2K21 logo to the next step where you click save. After you clean up everything, make sure you always click save to go out of it and not click like back or anything crazy like that. So now we got one thing left, and that is the actual pair of Raging Bulls. So once again, and this is kind of cool because you don't have to like pause and rewind it. You can actually just watch me do it here on the screen. But we just selected a picture, and then we clicked the cutout, then we clicked outline, and then we just outlined the image that we wanted to keep. And as you can see right here, I wanted to keep the shoes themselves, and then I wanted to also keep the shadow. I think that looks kind of cool when the shadow is there too in the thumbnail. That's personal preference though. Some people wouldn't keep the shadow, I would. And then there you have what they would keep for me after I click save. And then I kind of just went in and cleaned it up, because sometimes you will have to do that. After you click save, it won't be exactly what you wanted. So you have to take the eraser, change the size of the brush or the cursor, and then just go in and just erase what you don't want. Or you can do the reverse. If they took off something that you wanted to keep, you can just click like the add. I think it's like it says add or something like that, and you just add it back in there, the same way that you would erase it. And then there you have it. You got everything nice and looking clean and cut out. And so now it's time for placement, where I want people to recognize, like all the 2K fans, I want them to recognize immediately that it is a 2K related post. So boom, I have that nice and large. And then what the video is about is going to be the shoes. So that's the next thing that's right there and just big and bold. And then the colors are bright. And now we're just placing the letters. So right here, you can see me just going through like how do I want to place these, like what size do I want each of the phrases to be. This part is completely up to you and your creative vision and what you would like to see or not see in your thumbnails. So for me, I decided to have both phrases be fairly large, and then I just rotated the arrow so it looked like boom, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And then I selected the actual arrow, and then I clicked duplicate, and that's what made 2 arrows that were exactly the same. And then after that, I went up towards the top of the screen, and it was saying to move that arrow to the front or the back, and I moved that arrow to the background. After duplicating my arrows and sending it to the background, I went over to next and clicked save. I got the confirmation that the project saved successfully, and then I went over to my gallery, and there you have it. We have a nice thumbnail with bright, vibrant colors, big, bold words, a cool font. And don't forget, you can check out my other video on how to download or install that Fortnite looking font if you want it. And I hope this video helped you guys as much as the information helped me. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, share the video with someone else. You never know if someone else can find this video helpful. And I'll catch y'all at the next video.